Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first episode of PGIM India Mutual Funds presents LiveMint, Amend, Adjust and Adapt. This is a series of high-powered virtual panel discussions where we're really taking a look at what it means to be successful in the post-COVID world. I'm Vikram Chandra, founder of Editor G Technologies, and today we're going to be looking a bit at the economy and at the markets. What can be done? What should be done so that we can amend whatever we've been doing all this time, adjust and adapt to the changes that we may have to be done. We're going to try and actually come up with some positive suggestions. You're telling companies don't lay off people and throw people out of work. Somehow find a way to pay their salaries. You're having a situation where 30, 40, 50, 60% of MSMEs, startups, others are all run out of cash. They don't have a runway. They're all about to close down. They don't need money 3 months from now or 2 months from now or 6 months from now. By that time, something will be worked out. They need money today. Actually, they needed money in April. They needed money in May. So to some extent, the time before all of that money gets into their hands is as crucial as the quantum. 300,000 crores doesn't mean anything if it doesn't reach people till October because the companies will have shut down. People will be out of work.
No, so we fully appreciate the serious issue that you have highlighted. And that is why we took this step. It is time-bound, by the way. So this is something that is almost quite quickly can be transferred through. But yes, there are issues with transmission. No, and this is something that the Honorable Finance Minister and the Prime Minister take very, very seriously. So this is something we definitely do want to make sure that the banking system does go out there and provide this credit. Credit growth has been very weak recently. I understand during a lockdown, it will be anyway weak. But as we come out of this, banks going back will be expected to go out there, reach out to their customers with 100% guarantee as we have provided. It shouldn't be very difficult for banks to go out and extend credit to those who are anyway they're lending to. After all, remember the way it has been structured, we are not asking people to go and look at their books and evaluate people yet again. It has been structured in an almost mechanical way based on what they were anyway had in their limits. And if you were willing to lend them 100 rupees before, why not 120 rupees today? That is the kind of logic we have used so that there isn't a long argument about who should or shouldn't get it. And then that incremental 20 rupees, we have said, okay, we are giving you 100% guarantee on it. So we tried to do it in as smooth a way as we can. And so you can see why we have done it. Now, it's not to suggest that there isn't sand in the wheels along the way. And we are very conscious of it, both the Reserve Bank and the Ministry of Finance. And, we spend a lot of time looking at the nitty-gritties of getting it done. The Finance Minister has been regularly in touch with the heads of all the major banks, particularly the public sector ones, and try to make sure. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that everything will go smoothly. That's why we are doing these outreaches with people like yourself to get the message out. Tell us if for whatever reason this is not going through the way you would like it. Tell us, we will fix it along the way.
Okay, I'm going to now, I try and get everyone to come in on what to measure this specifically thing. So, I'm saying you next. If you were given a choice of doing 2 or 3 things right now, would it be monetary side? Would it be spending? If spending, where spending? Do an infrastructure push? Who knows, a defense push is going to probably happen in any case, whether we like it or not, given everything else that's happening. What would you do? What would be the 2 or 3 pieces of advice you give the government right now?
The NREGS money is going into rural India, creating rural demand. But what about urban India? And urban India is where the pain is maximum. Now we have a situation where I have not heard any kind of proposal as to what do we do to boost incomes and demand in urban India, which will actually be the backbone for the revival of a large chunk of industry. Remember, urban India accounts maybe only for 30% of the population, but it accounts for nearly 55% of total consumption in the country, right? You're not addressing that 55%. Now, if you don't address that, then you're asking for trouble down the road. Urban India will tend to have somewhat higher savings, so they will be able to sustain themselves for a little bit longer than the rural poor. But the point is that that's not infinite. Maybe from 2 weeks to 3 weeks for the rural poor, it may be 2 to 3 months for the urban poor. but certainly not more than that.
I think that's a really, really interesting point, which is sometimes not paid enough notice to. And that Mr. Mattis, if I could come to you on that point, obviously you must be looking at different sectors, different areas. Where is the pain the maximum? Where is the pain the not? And to some extent, by the way, the markets also do reflect it. Agriculture, as it turns out, seems to be doing quite well. In India, we've been seeing bumper harvests, and again, the monsoon seems to be pretty good right now. As Mr. Sen is saying, the pain points may be elsewhere. What do you think?
We really do think that technology adoption will simply accelerate across every industry. And firms that are on the forefront of this technology space will increase their dominance. We call these firms weightless firms. So in other words, firms that are more invested in less tangible assets like intellectual property, software, online platforms, algorithms, big data. These firms, we think, no matter which country they're based in, will win out. The second area that we seem to notice is the rethinking of global supply chains and approaches to inventory management. And then the final area that we think will be a focus is a rethinking of real estate space, both in office, logistics, and residential properties, as well as in infrastructure and transportation needs. Office space clearly won't go away, but we may use them less. And so it will need to be more flexible and have different amenities. Similarly, urban communities will continue to be important, but the needs of the urban resident might be different going forward. Overall, I would frankly say that as we look at how all different companies have been reacting and individuals have been reacting, we have frankly been very impressed by how most firms and their workforces have been able to amend their processes so quickly to deal with this pandemic environment. And frankly, the firms that have taken the lead in adjusting will probably be the winners in the future.
All right, really interesting. Let me try and get some. We're nearly out of time. Last quick thoughts from you, Mr. Sinha, and then you, Mr. Thorat. If I could just ask you, Mr. Sinha, first. Look into a crystal ball, next 5-6 months, how do you see them going, and any final policy prescriptions that you might have?
Going by our preparedness and also past history, I would recommend that the area where we should concentrate right now is the area of infrastructure. It is time tested because if government takes the right decisions, this whole thing can be kicked in the next 2 weeks. Anything else that we are talking about will require maybe a couple of months or even more. So, and fortunately, most of the infrastructure related activity has to start with the government's initiative. I would say a very big and immediate focus on infrastructure. Second would be real estate.
All right, Mr. Sinha, thank you so much for that view. Usha Thorat, last word on the show from you.
Probably there's a huge opportunity for us to actually generate employment in the urban areas and also maybe de-stress the metros and have a more disaggregated kind of model of manufacturing and services, which actually develops more around tier 2, tier 3 cities, where you would also manage the supply chain in a manner that it's more like a circular economy. And I would say these are to be done even from a long-term perspective of the environment and climate change and so on, but also from the pure fact that we have seen the way the extraordinary, the slums were affordable, that the housing that we have provided have also created huge issues. Going forward, we'll never be able to deal with pandemics unless we straight away confront this. And here, I think there is an opportunity, small sewerage plants, better sanitation, better solar panels for these housing, a much better housing. And this is, again, a huge employment generator with a lot of multiple impact on the economy. So maybe an urban guarantee scheme,
right,
I think would be very welcome.